enthusiastic about it and would make most any sacrifice.
At the same time that consumer cooperatives were proving successful at the regional level, members of many consumer clubs and women's groups nationwide were waging a difficult fight to reform the 1906 Food and Drug Law. The inadequacy of the law was exposed in a series of books, starting with the bestseller 100 Million Guinea Pigs, the searing indictment by F.J. Schlink and Arthur Callett. It influenced one of Roosevelt's key advisors, Rexford Tugwell, who drafted an early version of a new law. Another expose, American Chamber of Horrors, written by Ruth DeForest Lamb of the Food and Drug Administration, also shocked the nation. Its title was as ominous as the effects of the cosmetics it condemned. The 1906 law had not provided any safety regulations for cosmetics. The American Home Economics Association and feminists such as Anna Kelton Wiley, widow of Dr. Harvey Wiley, were among those quick to protest. They met powerful opposition from the drug industry, which argued that new regulations might prevent beneficial new products from reaching the market. As the debate continued, another tragedy, its impact comparable to the meat and patent medicine scandals of the early 1900s, set the stage for new legislation.
In 1937, a liquid form of one of the new sulfa wonder drugs was placed on the market. In announcing its new product, the maker, S.E. Massengill Company, said, "Our research department has just released an elixir sulfanilamide, 40 grams to the fluid ounce. It is ideal for your patients who can take liquids but little else. Also, it is not unpleasant to take, so it is suitable for children." The Massengill chemists found that sulfanilamide could dissolve in diethylene glycol to create its liquid form. They failed to note, however, one characteristic of the solution. Diethylene glycol is a chemical routinely used as an antifreeze, and as such is a deadly poison. In 1937, existing scientific literature indicated that diethylene glycol was toxic and could cause kidney damage or failure. But because the 1906 Food and Drug Law did not require safety studies on new drugs, the elixir was not tested for toxicity. Into the marketplace and onto the pharmacist's shelves it went in early September 1937. By October, the tragedy was already full-blown. It was learned that elixir sulfanilamide had been responsible for the deaths of more than 100 patients. Many of the victims were children who were being treated for sore throats. Ironically, the recall of the elixir was made possible under existing law only because of misbranding. If it had been called a solution instead of an elixir, no charge of violating the law could have been made.
The firm's owner, Dr. Samuel Massengill, said, "I do not feel any responsibility on our part." The firm's chemist, after learning of the effects of the liquid drug, committed suicide.
Finally, on June 30th, 1938, the new Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act was signed into law. The new drug section of the bill gave the agency regulatory power that provided a greater measure of drug safety and consumer protection.
That law seemed to satisfy no one. Drug companies damned the bill as an interference with consumer choice and the right of self-medication. Consumer activists insisted that the provisions ensuring product safety and preventing fraudulent advertising were inadequate. The FDA believed that the sulfanilamide experience had at least resulted in a shift in drug regulation, placing the burden of safety on the manufacturer before the product could be put on the market. America was finally coming out of the Depression. At the 1939 New York World's Fair, celebrated by Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia and Kate Smith, there was the world of tomorrow, with products no one had ever before envisioned. Such consumer exhibits as GM's Futurama drew the largest crowds. Consumer activists wondered, would technology control us, or we control it? But the world of tomorrow was deferred by World War II. On the home front, the protection of some basic consumer interests was the mandate of the OPA, the Office of Price Administration. The OPA set a ceiling on prices and rationed such scarce goods as meat and gasoline. With victory came the post-war spending boom.
The reconversion of war plants to peacetime pursuits is going ahead at full speed. Yes, soon you'll have that long-awaited refrigerator in the kitchen, along with a new stove. The assembly lines are rolling merrily. If your radio goes dead, cheer up. There'll be 1 million available by Christmas.